Let me see. I'll start to record. Record. Okay. All right. So we're going to do a copy of a master named Gong, not Dong, Gong, G-O-N-G, Xian, X-I-A-N, Gong Xian. The reason I choose this artist is because he's our he lived in Nanjing, my hometown, in a place now today is a park within walking distance. So when I was in Nanjing in the past years, I will walk there to his home site museum almost daily. So it's within walking distance of my parents and my brother's home. He's the leader of the 8 masters of Nanjing School, or Nanking School. It's also known as the Old Nanking School because later we have another new Nanjing School led by contemporary 20th century master Fu Baoshi. So we have 2 Nanjing schools in the history of landscape painting. Okay. Before we continue, I need to see if we can find a better copy of this painting. So I'm going to show you how do I do that. Let's go to Google. Let's see. Hold on, let me try first. See if I can bring that up. Okay, so images. Yeah, you can do a reverse image search to see if there's a better copy. So let's go to Google. Here there's an image, search by image, and you click on upload an image and choose file. So I have a smaller file here on my website, on my computer. Okay, this is the copy we currently have. Sorry, this is the copy. So I open this small file. I will upload. Not really. And that's the only one we find. This is the only copy. So yeah, I tried this before. This is the source. This is this better? Looks like yeah, it's a slightly better copy. Maybe here we have. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, we found it. I don't know why we didn't do it last time.
Ooh.
That's a better copy. We did it.
Pretty.
Okay, so how do I save it? Maybe I just save it like this. Okay. Just find this folder, so we'll have a good copy. I will share it with you. Okay. Okay. Let's see if we can open this. Okay, that's number 1. Perfect. Perfect. Oops. This is the low resolution one. Okay, now I can I can boost it up. See, this is how better the quality is now. You can see everything, right? Okay, great. So while we do this copy, I'll talk about the historical background. Maybe that to save time. And I wish you have read the notes, so I don't have to repeat. Okay, let me mute you guys. Someone maybe. Did you mute yourself, Ruby? Okay, let me see. Okay, no echo, no echoing. Okay. Before I leave, I move this book. I just let you know the reference is the Images of the Mind by Moen Fong, and this is the last chapter we are at. Gong Xian is different spelling as K-U-N-G, but nowadays the romanization is G-O-N-G, X-I-A-N instead of H-S-I-E-N. So they're just different romanization systems. So next class will be the last artist in this book, Shi Tao, or Dao Ji. They are leaders of two regional schools, actually not far away from each other. One is the Jingling School or the Nanking School. The other is Huangshan School, Huangshan Yellow Mountain School. Okay, move this. And I will use semi-sized, or as actually should be all okay. His style is very moist, so it could be even unsized, but I think it's easier for you guys to use semi-sized or sized. Should I do a big one like this? I think maybe this painting is quite big. Let me see the proportion. Oh, it's kind of long. So if the original could be like a quarter of a 4 sheet. So I think it's like this roughly. Here. So we make the length is about twice of the width, right? So I just leave it like that. I don't have to cut it. I can write a test on this side. Okay. So I just use this much. It's about 2 times of the width, the length. Yes. So we can use brush here. I just use an old version of the mustards. You can use the mustards brush. It's similar to this one. I'll start with very light ink. Almost nothing, right? Just whatever left. I got some peach set, but you don't have to use them. Okay, I would use maybe just the ink cake. The ink cake is relatively easy to control. We want to use very thirsty brush to start with, very light and thirsty brush to start with the draft. So you can make changes if needed. So first of all, I will lay out the composition, and I see the.
Henry, did you send us the painting?
Oh, the
photo?
painting. Let me give you the high resolution one through the chat room. Let me do this. This is probably the easiest way to send. Let me see. Where's the chat? The chat room. Where's the chat? That's weird.
On the right-hand side, there's a dot. Is that the chat?
Let me see. I see. Oh, chat. There's a request there. Okay.
Just
Good.
send a hi.
Right. I found it. Okay, so I'm going to upload this image. OneDrive. Let's see. Download. It's not download. Quick access. Pictures. Gong Xian here. Okay, got it. Okay, did you get it? Let me see. It takes a while. It's only 220K. Very small one. Okay, try to open that. Can you get from the chat room? Anybody?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay. I can send you the email also, but it will maybe take a few minutes.
Yeah, if you can send the email, maybe. I'm not that familiar with this.
The chat. Okay. Let me just send the image or email. Reply all. Okay. Attach. Browse. Computer. Okay, got it. Send. So it should be there in 1 minute, maybe. It's a very small file. Okay. While you can use this small reference for the purpose of maybe just composition. I think it's a good idea to use charcoal. Let me see.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
Okay, I got a box of charcoal here. So you can buy soft willow charcoal, from the willow stick. Sorry. Very soft. Okay.
What is the size of paper you're using?
Whatever size. This is a 1/6, like a 19 by maybe 10, something like that. So this is 18 by 10. 18 by 10.
18 by 10. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I have a fold in the middle that helps actually to position the yeah. So basically we can do some simple shapes. Okay, you can draw just like you don't have to worry about all the rocks. You just draw a line, a slant line, all the way to slightly above the center line, not right in the middle. Maybe just this is one big skyline, and then we have the house, the roof. I'm sorry, I'm using I'm using the whole paper again. Let me see, what should I do? Let me just stay within the boundary. So this is my frame. Okay, so I have to stay within that there. So let me just draw this one roughly like that. It's like a Z shape composition, right? So the tree goes this diagonal direction, and then we have the bottom. So keep the horizon or waterline very low, so almost like just very close to the bottom. Oh, it's right there. So you have some rock formations there. It's pretty squeezed on the bottom. So there's some horizontal formations close to the stream, the bank of the stream. Stream goes like that. So it could be a little bit like steps, yeah, but different. Yeah, just vary the distance between the steps. I think basically there's several steps, and you should indicate that when we do the actual. Now I just need a placement mark. So I have basically. So this is the top line. So I can then develop something like a. Like a skyline of rocks under it. And this is the roof, right? So here's the cloud. The cloud is very important. So the white shape is very important. You have to save and look at the tree. They're a group of 3, right, or 5. I can really see. This pine tree is the host, and then the other trees behind vary the distance. Maybe it's just like that. And there's a horizontal cloud in between. That okay, it should be a little bit towards this side, I think. Okay, so I have to make a correction here. So the pine tree starts on this half of the paper. It should be probably there. Because this is charcoal, I can dust it off. My dust is kind of dirty, but it should work. Just use a duster. You can change it. So it's better to make mistake now than later. So this is the tree trunk, and then you just go. You have to match each tree, the top and the bottom. So there are clouds in the west of the tree that creates the illusion of distance. Okay, Gong Xian has a teaching book, right? And he had extensive lecture notes on the side of those instructional notes on the illustrations. And one of the in one of the notes, he talks about painting clouds. He said that he spent 30 years trying to paint the clouds with depths, with a hole. Hole means depth, right? Thick or hole. But later he realized one day he met a teacher, another teacher, not his maybe. I don't know if he's his own teacher or others' teacher, but he met a good teacher and taught him that the key to make thick clouds is to make the mountain look thick. The layers of tonalities you can see in the mountain that creates the depths of the clouds, not just to make the white clouds, look more thicker. Or you can. The key is to work more on the depths of on the thickness or depths of the rocks and the hills. I have to wear a glove because you can easily stain your paper or your sleeve. Okay, let me see. So I just need a placement. I don't want to really draw all the details. So the proportion, and maybe some major divisions of the rock, the white actually and the dark. You can also trace, like the emphasis is the ridge line of the dragon wing, if you want. So that's where the peak is, right? So as long as the peak is set, the others should be are subordinate to that. Let me see. Somehow I feel my figure is still wider than the original. Let me see. Oh, I see. So this should be a little dark, light, broader there. But try to see the whole thing. So the main peak, this smaller, lower, just like that. Okay. If you are not good at drawing, you can always do the print and the large. Let me see. Did I put on the wrong side? I think maybe I did. Oh well. The smooth side should be the side to pin on. Anyway, I'm going to go to the tree first. The pine tree first. Enlarge this one. Okay, so I'll do this front first. I'll start from the left side of the trunk, usually. To save time, I think he did this trunk in maybe 2 or 3 times. His idea of doing this kind of contour repeatedly, so he said, if you do this, you don't have the need to add texture strokes. But that was talking about the white style rock. He has a dark and white style. So his white style without inner texture, so he repeatedly do the trunk in several, not exactly repeat the stroke, but more like overlapping layers, I would say. So you can see this tree has is linked, right? Towards the left. It's kind of hard to draw in one step. Let me start from where it's split. Usually that's where I start. It's quite high, and one of the notes reads that the pines should be needles should be more on the upper side of the trunk, not the lower part. Okay, and this is maybe it looks like it doesn't look like a regular pine. It's with downs, he's very abstract, obviously. I think he's a follower of Deng Qichang, the Ming master who promoted calligraphy and the Southern school. He's definitely a Southern school follower, but he never copied the ancient masters. He didn't say, this is after who's who painting, but he painted from real trees, reportedly. This paper is pretty smearing, so I add a little peach sap to control that. Okay, let me start from this this Tai Chi kind of top. So you go, Tai Chi says if you go left, you turn slightly right. There's a coin, I think. junk, I think. And my own teacher is also a fan of Gong Xian. Han Shaoying, my landscape painter, taught me that the Tai Chi formation of the pine tree crown. So I see a Tai Chi movement like right there. So you kind of twist like a Tai Chi. If you know, if you're a Tai Chi practitioner, you know the hand movement, gesture. The left and the right usually form a twist, opposite twist. And the brush should be relatively dry. But I don't think he repeated this little branches. Maybe I should get some dark ink anyway to start. Just do with one shot without repeating. Anyway, so the the left side of the trunk, I'm going to do. Notice that the trunk does not have an even thickness, right? And just not in classical painting theory, there's no inch of the trunk should be straight, but the whole thing could be not that cursive. It should show the power of the pine, right? So I'm going to put, it's too dark. Can you really see what I'm doing? Let me zoom in a little bit. I think another thing he emphasized is 没有没有，我在刚刚我自己人在动。Okay, my he has an emphasis on the tip concealed, tip centered stroke. Yeah, just like a calligraphy. He says the tip, only the tip centered stroke gives you the feel of substantiality or the thickness that he was trying to achieve. Besides the maybe that's because the network speed, I think. Let me show you. So you want to see my painting part, huh? The sample. Oh, you just download the sample and print it out or put it on your computer desktop. The sample you showed on the left. On the screen. It's unfocused and focused. Unfocused and focused. Yes, Victoria says she has a problem with this image on the left. I didn't do anything, but maybe because Zoom has this malfunction to blur it. So you can print it or you put it on just download it from the chat room or email and put it on your desktop. So you don't have to see the small image on the left of my screen. I'm looking at a larger screen on my desktop, by the way. This may be just helpful for those who are not in the Zoom class. If you follow this on YouTube, you have to use rely on the small image on the left. Sorry. Okay, so I got some bark. It's like a little half loop, but you can see the calligraphy clearly, you know, just cursive style. They're not circles or completely round, neither square or straight. So it's something between um, straight and curve, and some loop, maybe a little bit, but you know, just be very calligraphic, I think, and use the hold the brush like a calligraphy, and let me just do another one. So I have to use some darker ink to do this side. Okay, so this is the. I also start from where it's split maybe, so just. And you know, you stop, you put a stop at the end of the trunk. We talked about how to do this transition from single stroke, from double stroke to single stroke, right? In the early lessons, and you can have a little. You know, I avoided painting wet into wet. Still, you know, there's some damp. If the light ink is still wet, you better wait. You know, to avoid smearing. So you don't have to follow exactly where I'm doing. You can, you know, depends on your situation on your painting. You can wait if it's too wet to repeat the strokes you did with a different tone. It could be light over dark. Also, just you know, so different layers could be applied with a complementary tone. So you can repeat, you can overlap or highlight the line with the dark or with light. That, you know, as long as the layers just do not exactly repeat, so they form like a orchestra, you know, like a quartet, string quartet, like a, you know, different music instruments, the sound of different music instrument to produce the overall harmony of the effect. You know, you the effect is solid, substantial. That's the description of his style according to the art historian, the book, the reference book, Fangwen's mind, image of minds, the mind. Okay, so his style is very substantial and solid, and to create that, your stroke is very, it's almost like a script style calligraphy with all, you know, solid strokes. Even those vertical lines, we're going to the little bars kind of shaped for needles. I think, yeah, this definitely is pine, but he has his own style. He treats the pine more like a willow to me, because it's near the water, maybe pine willow. Interesting. Okay, so this is the. Should I do the foliage? Maybe we wait a little bit. I'll lay out these trees first. So the second tree, I can draw another better relationship. It goes behind this one, and not too tall. Just the suggestion of the root here, and then goes up there, and then we'll do. Oops. kind of not so straight, lean to the left. Well, this chocolate won't dust completely off. That's not very good. Let me just cover that. So some zigzag happens here. So they're not very straight. Okay, that's his style. But each section is straight. Each section is quite straight. And the chun or the wrinkles in the middle is straight, indicate a different. It could be the cypress tree, I think. It's parallel bark. Okay, then it goes slightly to the left, not completely straight, but here we normally do, it's the division line. Okay, so this, let me just start from this first division point. You can make a V at the turning point and then continue. Okay. I think sized paper may be better because it keeps smearing. You have to add a little peach sap to, I have to add peach sap to control the smearing. Okay, this top is a V shape. Let me see, the top is definitely higher than the pine tree, so we need to go quite higher. So there's another section before we do the top, so it should be like that. And it goes there. And then we do a little Y-shaped split. My brush is a little thicker than his. Okay, because the painting he probably did on a larger paper, so you can use a smaller brush maybe to have, if you want to duplicate all the details, you need to use a smaller brush, maybe. Okay. I think the pie is quite dry. Let me start to do this. Normally the light, wet comes the last. His series is you do the dry as a boom, dry stroke as a boom. So in the beginning, you start with dry light and then darker dry, and then the last the washes. So I'm going to do this. I see a gradation. You see the gradation, a natural gradation. So I have some dark gray. Then I touch a little dark to have some darker tone on the front of the brush. So I need to a little branch there. A little branch. Okay, now I can draw. Oh, this is too rough. So his style is very cultivated, not so rough. So we just do very neat strokes. No split. Yeah. But later you can use a scrambling to create the harmonize, So basically, it's very abstract. Oh, I covered some tree trunk. That's okay. So he, like Dong Qichang, he did. Dong Qichang has this like a half, uh, like a X-ray view. Black and white, as if he cut the tree in half in the middle, and then or the trunk is white, or the foliage is dark. That kind of style, but you don't have to. So I had some in the front. That's okay, I think. But to follow,
Henry,
yes.
what you're painting right now, it looks like Spanish moss. Is that what it is, or?
Oh, that's a good interpretation. So it's a dead tree with a Spanish moss. You can think that way. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I get the feel. I know what it is. I solved this mystery. Thank you. Yeah, I thought it was something else than pine needles, but I cannot justify it. Yeah, that's an old pine with moss. Yeah, with Spanish moss.
We have a lot of that here in Florida.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
It's
a lot.
rainforest kind of. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So you just vary the length of the strokes in a group and try to indicate. You can vary according to your preference. So just to vary the shape of the outside. All right. And you don't have to copy stroke by stroke in this case. All right. And then there's some kind of depth, as I mentioned. So this branch is in the front maybe, or so also this crown. Maybe we should do this here. And it could be a samanite, just a feeling of the tree covered with Spanish moss or lichens. That kind of feel. Gong Xian is pretty wet. He lives in the city of Nanjing. Yeah, it's pretty green. Every hill is completely green. If you are in Taiwan or Asia, you know how green those. Although it's not like Amazon forest, but it's very green. Very different than Southern California. Definitely, we don't see that kind of green trees. So I'm not going to lighten the. I just go with the tone of the. So when it's getting lighter, I'll do the the soft ones. You don't have to purposely make those tones always to. Usually it happens naturally. Just if you do it according to a sequence. So here I missed those little branches on the side. Just maybe make up a little. I'll do the lighter ones there later. So I just little, very thirsty ink on the brush. Okay, here's the top of this groove. I think it's the darkest on the whole tree. So let me just have some concentration of ink there, and some concentration on the top there, and concentration maybe here on this branch. I do have some white in between those strokes. So it's like a little nail head stroke. But not so much nail head. Just around top and the tip, sharp tip finish. So this is we call this as a kind of like a nail stroke. Yeah, nail stroke, like a pin stroke, you may say. pink stroke. Yeah. So get some more ink. The branch should be a little darker than the foliage, ideally. So I have to reinstate that if it's buried in the foliage or like the moss. You can add a little sticking out branches if you need. Okay, and so the branch should be darker than the moss. Color according to kinds. That's the theory. And I just add a little dark to the shady part as well. And it doesn't have the light source, that kind of thing, but you can we add some dark to the yang, the in or shady part, yeah, the hollow part. Okay, now what about this one? It's almost like a pine needles, but maybe a cypress, but not so sharp. That creates the kind of a dull or thick or substantiate instead of sharp on the, not so Ni Zan, the other artist who is very popular at that time among the loyalists or the leftover citizen from the Ming Dynasty. By the way, this artist lived in the turn of dynasties from Ming to the early Qing in the in Nanjing, the first capital of the Ming Dynasty. Actually, they had a resistant movement in a city called Yangzhou, 1 hour from Nanjing these days by car or by car, I think. Just crossed the Yangtze River. It was a port city on a Grand Canal. It's a lot of rich merchants. They become art patrons in the Qing Dynasty. But when Qing forces, they're horseback people, in the Manchuria, from Manchuria, they conquered. They cracked down on the resistance and in Yangzhou and massacred the city for 10 days. Gong Xian was there, but barely escaped to the countryside and survived as a family tutor for 5 years. And finally, he returned to Nanjing, his hometown, I think. His hometown may be nearby Nanjing, but anyway, he settled in Nanjing in a place called Qingliang Mountain. It's a hill, actually, not far from my brother's home these days. He got like a little plot called he made a home and they called it the half-acre garden, a small garden. Maybe just like an art garden, maybe smaller. Half acre is not very small, right, these days. But yeah, it's very small. It's just the meaning of small garden. One of my friends actually made a garden out of the balcony and called her garden half-inch garden. That's even smaller, the smallest maybe. But it's very nice. Anyway, that's his home for the next 20 years, and he taught students there. He's a kind of eccentric person, not very people friendly, he lived as a hermit, but in the city of Nanjing. not in a remote, distant mountain like Gong Xian or like Shitao or Balashan. He's not a royal family member like the four monks. He called himself the monk of sweeping foliage. Okay, leave some space between the upper and the lower part, and you can. I think the round dot could be a different tree. That's the neighboring tree. So I'm going to save that. So this tree has this little vertical kind of dots. The other tree in the middle of this group is rounded horizontal. So let me make that clear. So we do another tree. This one actually could be in the front of the second one. So we need to make this one now. And oh, there are two of them. There are two of them kind of these two trees kind of lean to each other, kind of intervened, twisted. One to the left and one to the right. So they and then it goes up. This one to the left and this one crossing, make an X crossing to this side. Okay, so I'll do this one first. So there's a Y shape. Okay. Split and then goes up. And notice even it's a straight branch, but it has some zigzag kind of variation. The same idea as the horn, the deer horn idea of the bare branches. That's kind of, this tree should have a little branch on this side. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna dot this tree with a little round dots, but generally speaking, the dots are lighter than um, the first, I mean the trunk. Yeah, it should be smaller, but it's okay as long as you have uniform. Okay, I'm. You don't have to make clear how they overlap, but the idea is they go into each other as in here, and you can have some more, and maybe some behind. So you don't have to make it clear which is which exactly, but there's a mixed area here. Okay, and then the top should be very clear. It's a X horn kind of. Let's see. Oh, that's it. That was it. Okay, that's the height on that. And you can have some horizontal strokes. Okay, so I like that. And this one on the third one in this group, it leans to the right, and then with this kind of almost like outlines shape. He has invented a set of script, the alphabet for his leaves. Definitely, that's working for him. Okay, this is a maybe 3 or 2 strokes. Let's just do 2. Make the brush straight and pointed. Only the tip of the brush to do something almost like outline. Like an M. Okay, got it. M. And you can combine M's. So it forms like a white foliage. It gives you sense like the light leaves. A lot of M, just M. Further abstracted, you know. It could be dark on top. And you can do the branches if you need it with the same kind of ink if you want. I think there's some branches added same time. Just M, M, M. Okay, I would add some branches. There's a trunk, I think, next to this one. So the last tree here, I need to hold the brush straight. I have a tendency to use the side of the brush. His style is straight. And you can leave some break, leave some blank in between the straight lines. That is kind of loose treatment, you know, otherwise it's too stiff, maybe to have all the um, center stroke, a tip concealed stroke without a break. So that helps to, and it's pretty dry, you know, with flying white. So just do fast, very light, gentle. Okay, now we have a branch that goes to the X. Just a suggestion. All right, and actually this tree here has a long horizontal foliage that goes all the way and behind and go up. So that's another, and it's the tallest tree here in this group. I'm going to add some, let's just mark the tip, the top here. So this is the tree, it's horizontal. It has this branch there and go up, go left and then right. So it keeps gravity in the center, but not straight. Yeah, that's the idea. And you can then divide it. Okay. every artist had this signature you cannot really reproduce. His signature is so different. He spent 30 years to develop. Okay, now I'm going to draw this horizontal lines with relatively lighter ink, because the yeah, lighter than the branch. And you can do it after dry a little bit, maybe see if there's any. Okay, and there's a branch, more branches on the on this tree here, and the split. So this is a pretty tree with the M, more M. My paper is pretty smearing. I just realized that, but I like it because it's free and more spontaneous. I cannot really go into Gongbi, but more into Xie or spontaneous style. And okay, you can use a sharper brush to do this, maybe with the lines. I try to finish it in one brush. And this is the kind of stroke. It's just like you turn this uh, Spanish moss thing 90 degree to the left, and you got this. So you start with uh, a round head, and then I pull to the left, to the right. If you left-handed, maybe you can do this opposite. But I lean the brush a little bit to make it easier. So pretty fast, you can draw this like that. Just with this, kind of quarter inch, maybe less than that length in average. You can vary a little bit, but depending in a group of 5, 3, like here, with the line, some long, some short, maybe some to form a. There's a little curve I noticed, so it's not straight. It's a little bent down, so like that. And you can have some more. I think, yeah, there rock behind, so this part could be denser. We'll use dry brush to fill in the darks later. But at this point, you need just to worry about the foliage and not the rock behind, I think. We just fill in some space between the two trees. So this is become quite dense, and I see there are two kinds of stroke kind of intervenes overlapping here. So you can see some M, some dashed strokes here in this lower area. Maybe all this area could be overlapping. So that creates some density without confusing, without confusion between trees. You create, and that's why some of the M should be darker than the dashes. Maybe that's the idea. Could be his idea. So you can go back to reinstate the M's with darker ink. Maybe. So I should have been studied this or before I start, but until you start, can't really see things as just like in the West we do plein air painting. We start to understand the nature of why we paint it, right? The same idea. You start to understand the classic painting until you start to copy it. So you have you have a lot of moment. Oh, why he does this? Oh, how he deal with this solve this problem, or So next time when you go to natural, here's the natural school. He does not copy the ancient masters. He doesn't really want to reproduce the ancient masters as Dong Qichang or the Four Wands, the court sponsored Orthodox school artist does. He's more into learning from natural, kind of like a Shitao, the Wang Shan. Later, next time we'll study Wang Shan school. He studied the Yellow Mountain, but he does mostly the scenery of the Nanjing area. It's a hills, lots of hill and green trees like this. Anyway, so we spent about almost 1 hour here. The next hour, I hope we'll do faster on it. So that's all for the trees. Good news is, okay, let me get some piece of paper here. You can always go back to add dark. If not dark enough, you can reinstate later. And just add a few in the darkest dark part on this part. I also accented this one, just make sure it's dark enough. This is probably the darkest in this group. The middle tree, it's darkest here. And I should have leave the white in the little branch there. I try to squeeze out that. Even it's gray, you should see that. Okay. All right, let's go ahead to the easy part. Not easy part, fun part. Okay, let's do this water mouse. If we don't have time, I'll just do the key of this painting. This part, this corner on the lower left. So I'll start with a rock in the front that kind of hides half of the water. And I realized that my composition is a little different. So my tree is more in the center. Let's extend that a little bit. So I'll extend it a little bit. Maybe. Okay. This one is roughly here. Keep it low. That's my idea. So this rock is lower than the farther side of the string, right? So this right here. And he draws the rock in 2 strokes, maybe one on this on the left side and one on the left side and right side, 2 strokes. And you can then do the wrinkles in between. But let me finish all the structure. I have to recompose some part because my composition is a little different, starting to vary. So I have to make sure the plan is fit. So here's the kind of wave shape rock formation on the ground. You usually see this near the river. It's horizontal, but this side is raised a little bit. Still, I see a lot of chill, the character for hill, like stone nose here. You can see that's a stone nose in the front. Let me just draw quickly some divisions with a tip concealed stroke of a dry brush stroke. He emphasized on the dry brush stroke, so you have a bone underneath the wet later. And the rock here, and then the kind of shady part of this ground plane, the pine. It has movement like a Dong Qichang's rocks or Tang Ying's rocks we did recently. The shape is almost like, you know, the interest in seeking stone, the strange stones in the nature, and in the depict them in the painting. It's almost like, you know, the same time in Europe they paint the nudes or, you know, human body. This kind of enthusiasm just to paint, you know, all the formation of rock out of their mind eventually. It's very, they're very into this kind of strange rocks. And see even here I see a ridge line. Maybe that's the white line. And we need to divide the rock so that they are not exactly the same. So this is a large piece there. Okay. And even here, I see the ridge. Let me just outline that. I think that although I emphasize I reminded myself to do that, but my ground is still not, you know, flattened enough. It should be very flat, I think, and squeezed into folds like this. So, and these are parallel lines. It may be similar to the hemp style, but use dry brush in the tip centered, yeah. So not split brush strokes. Even with the dry brush, you can see his stroke is pretty neat. Let me just finish the contour first. And there's something very light. Second layer. There's the dark. There's I think I missed some formation there. Anyway, I have to fix it on my own. I didn't really match each rock. Doesn't matter. The rock could be changed very easily. You can divide or combine as you like. Okay, let me just finish the formation behind this tree. Okay, squeeze out the light below it. Okay. Now I'm getting too wet, too early. Anyway, I have to wait till it's dry, and then I'll do more the texture wrinkles. So you can do the wash first, but it's pretty. I still use a pretty dry brush, so that's considered dry brush wash. Dry brush modeling. And you see the shade, the yin and yang contrast. So now you should be very familiar with where the dark against the light. You know, how do you make the painting pop, the rock pop, based on the yin and yang contrast, right? So you want to make the yang pop, you just put yin like on the top or behind, right? No, I just
You move the painting up just a little bit so we can see. Yeah, okay, thank you.
okay. It should get lighter and lighter even with this little distance change, I think. So that's my steps. I need to make the bottoms indicate the plan change with some little rocks sticking out. So this line is to be steps, different steps, not the same kind of just a straight line. Not especially the bottom. It's almost like a water line with the rock. Anyway, it's too wet, but not wet, it's wet. Just add some glue. Okay, I'll finish the contour first. You can see the whole picture. So this rock is very classical, just like you know, the two stroke, maybe one on this side and on the left, right side, and then we have a small one, and then we have a medium one. So just vary the size, and you can put a little division of indicate the 3 dimensions idea. It could be a little top dimension, but that created a little top there, right there. Okay, so he did the bottom with a stroke. Usually we don't do that, but because you don't do the water here, I just draw this like that, and then add a little water to do the rocks behind, and then a little larger one and a smaller one, just a dot. It's just smear. Okay, so that's 6 rocks here, and you like clouds. The water is you don't do the water, you just do the rock, right? So this shape like there, and then goes 0 division lines, and he has attitude against the northern school's X cut. He said you can use a small X cut, okay, as far as rock is concerned. You can use all the other kind of texture, including dots, the horse teeth or raindrop, that kind of thing, but not X cut strokes. That means no side stroke. I have to keep that in mind. So we just use the little, just like tying. That's you use a little tip stroke to do the northern school rocks, not the side. So that creates some style, more literary or southern school. More ink, I mean, yeah, not so dry here, because this is near the water, so we don't need to dry brush that much, but it's just have to do faster, whatever. and I leave the highlight. Okay, now the next layer is even darker. So I see a gradation from dark to light in this group. This near the water, so we create a contrast, stronger contrast. Yeah, you see a little space, little subtle, but you cannot leave too much, just enough to. It's kind of too close to the rock, but yeah, sometimes you have to be bored to close, to go very close to, but still leave enough space to distinguish plants, something like that. You can still see yin yang everywhere, right? Yin and yang contrast. And his the line, the dark line in the middle of the water, I don't think it's a rock. I think that they're just water. It's so abstract. It almost looks like a white rock, right? I think that's for the contrast to make water looks really white. Maybe that's what we try to do. So anyway, I'm going to use lighter ink to start with. You cannot go directly to that dark.
So that's the water between the
I
rocks.
think so, because otherwise the water will be blocked. Yeah, I think the dark line is just too dark. You can change that. You don't have to copy exactly that dark line. I think. Let me just fill in the blank. We leave a little white on top of the plane of this. Maybe just like that. Okay, so you can draw these divisions with light first. These are very smooth, not angular, like not rough. There's horizontal line. You have to keep in mind. Maybe he just draw that. Yeah, that's water line. The water is so still, almost like ice waterfall. Oh, just frozen, huh? Well, that's okay. Just impression. You can draw a water line there, and then you draw this line on top, several folds. I think. My fall is kind of low. So as I said, if you leave the space, squeeze out the space to the bottom, then you leave more room to play here. Now I'm out of space. I have to add it on top of that. Maybe I have to add a rock, something here to fill in this space on the left. Okay, let me just add a little more. Higher. I think he got mouse dots on this side. Oops, that's a big dots. Okay, that's very Gong Xian. Very wet, very fat mouse dots near the water. Oh, good. Okay, so let's just do that. Yeah, that filling the space. Now I just need the vegetation, and I can dot more even later. The dots should be the last, remember? But I just show you how to deal with this kind of situation. So you don't have to add the rock to fill in the space there on the left. So this could be just like that hide the water source. And you can have another curve line for the river. Okay, it's all curved line. That's interesting. It's so abstract. I love it. So abstract. Again, I didn't squeeze it. It goes too high. It goes too high. It should be like that. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, let me overlap. Let me hide it if I can change it just into rocks before too late. Just make it into rocks. That's a river bank. Can you see it? What I'm doing? Okay.
So the water flow from left, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it just flow from the bottom up. Maybe here you just see the the curve, the top curve of the spring or something, almost like just popping up from the ground. So we don't we don't really. It's a flat view, flat perspective. Yeah, yeah. So this are all just very soft, dry brush. So just basically do some
So
sketch.
that's the rock you're painting
The river bank on the right side.
on the other side.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you can darken this this water line later. I see the artist didn't really change the direction of the brush. They just keep doing in one direction like that. So we just do that. And then you can add water to the tip of the brush and just lead it gradually into voids. You know, just like adding, but not too much water, you know, just add a little bit, just like a color into the tip to lighten it. So I got this gradation going here, and I squeeze out to this Yan side. Actually, this side. Oh, I forgot. I made the same mistake last time. So I have to move my painting when I to zoom out to see. So I filled in too much space into the cards. Maybe you guys can do less. I think this is clouds is a little oversized, so maybe you can reduce the you can leave more white between the tree and the waterfall if you could. Okay, just yeah, based on the look more of the original, not my interpretation. Okay, now I'm going to do the, let me just finish this front rock, this big giant with a stone nose right there. So the nose part is protruding, it's white, and it's the top plane, if you will. So the bottom part takes maybe 7 or 8 layers for him to fill. We don't have time, so I'll do this maybe 3 times. And so not much white. Actually, the white is still gray, so you can just keep doing until you reach the thickness, the darkness. Okay, let me this part. That's a slope. That's a slope behind, and there's some rock there. And just squeeze out the. I'm using more branch like a Shen Shitian, the Shenzhou, I think, or Wu Zhen. I think here you see that kind of Yuan style or Ming style with a dry brush. His style is more in the trees in this painting, I think. The rocks are not so distinctive. It's almost like a Yuan or Qing, or Ming style of Southern School masters, Shenzhou. And that's more like Wu Zhen or Shenzhou. Shenzhou is a big admirer of Wu Zhen. And some artists favor Nizan. At that time, the Nizan is comparable to the period of dynasty transition here between Ming and the Qing in the Mongol dynasty, Mongol conquest. The Nizan created this kind of a very detached landscape, like you don't see any realistic no people, no anything, just an empty pavilion with trees, little thin trees, that kind of thing. That's an expression of his retreat. He physically, he lived on the boat Nizan in the end of Yuan dynasty, or beginning of the Yuan dynasty. But this artist didn't really become a wonder hermit, but they have the same kind of life experience. And painting gave them the psychological healing in this turbulent time. It's said by the art historian, and to express their mourning of the past, maybe. So they use painting as a silent protest. Okay, so just keep doing this. You could, you can make the yin yang kind of contrast until you see that, and we'll squeeze out the clouds by adding some, some N and some other dots of the foliage continuing from the top here on the bottom. Okay, so, and the horizontal dots on this one. And just scratching or scrambling kind of gets into the clouds. I just add water. I just do it a little bit wet into wet because I don't have time to wait all the paints to dry. Let me just do this to continue behind. So this is a continued hillside from here all the way to here, the waterfront. And there's some darks here and there. We'll have to worry about that. Okay, I'm going to add some other keys to the painting, just give you an overall look. Now we do this building, okay? This may be a focal point. And you can start from light, or medium, dark, and add it. Let me just do it directly, see if I can. I make this a triangular on the side wall shape, and then a long triangle. And this side, oh, I don't have the room for the other. So let me put this in the front. This is the roof line, and this is the eave line. Grass or straw. And he always do this in tip-centered stroke. And this is teardrop. Teardrop, just press down. And okay, I think I did too large. Maybe it's not a good idea to not see the proportion, I think. Okay, so you see what the problem is? I just lost the whole picture. So maybe I just keep it this way. So better not to zoom in too much. Well, I have no room for the rock top. Maybe just a little bit. Just a little bit. That's the eve line. I'll make this it's kind of hard to see. So I'll just make some rock behind the trees here and there. Okay. Oops. I mute your noise. Okay. Yeah, I missed the tree behind the tree. I mean, missed the rock behind the tree here. Let me see. You can see through the tree here. There's a rock below this building, and we need to indicate that. But there's a lot of subtle division of, I mean, subtle differentiation of ink tonality according to the subject matter. You know, it could be a lot of, maybe more than 3 or 5 tonality to distinguish the shape of the elements here. So I have to make it simpler. So I see the rock goes beyond. So you can see that the tree is almost translucent, right? And still you can see everything underneath it. Almost I can see the cliff from distance view. Maybe something like that. We have to look at from distance later. And this water line, I mean this cloud line is dry. First of all, you just use dry brush, you know, just dry brush. These are the mountain foot extending this rock behind. There's a little slant, I think right there is a slope, maybe, and then continue behind the tree. And goes all the way to this waterfront. But I lost the white in between, unfortunately. So this is the rock. So I'm not washing the tree, I'm washing the rock behind the tree like that. Maybe a little bit. And then this tree part. Okay, these are the rocks. And this rock behind. And this was the fill in the blanks. And pay attention to the shape of the cloud. Like you said, you know, when you look on cloud, you really make the mountain with more depth. So the clouds actually, or mist, is in the mountain itself, not just like the idea of painting water. He doesn't do the water at all. He make this rock really dark and contrast out the water. We can do a little rock there, maybe. Okay. Let me finish by doing the top. So this mountain actually it's not very far. The foot is right here in front of us. Just because the mist rising from the waterfall, you don't really see the whole thing. So I mean the mist in the middle. of the mountain is the idea. So it's only one close up, like one corner landscape by Ma Yuan, if you recall, that kind of thing. So let's do this. I'm going to draw this main mountain. You will start from we'll just start from here. I have to correct my composition constantly. I see my small mountain is too far from the building here. It originally is here, right here. Okay, let me edit that. And that's the line for this hill there, and the cliff down there. Okay, and then I'll draw this skyline. Just a quick summary of this painting. Okay, I concentrate on the ridge for the dragon wing, we call this. Or you can describe it as a large rock surrounded with small rocks, basically, and then dark against the light. Okay. And here I see some interesting formation. This middle, I try to identify the 3 dimensions. 1, 2. That's a chew, right? Side view chew or heel character for the secret I learned from my teacher. So always this part is the center for the formation. You see where the dark usually is on one side of the contour, not on both sides. Okay. This is basically the parallel chun or pima, the hemp kind of chun. I try to shape the clouds here. This line goes in and out, and goes out here. That's and goes defined by this piece here, and you can have a little division there. A cliff goes. Okay, my brush stroke getting very loose and thick. You should keep it maybe consistent. Okay, so lost track on which one is which, but basically I got the key is where the division line of the 3 is. Okay, then you just add dark or yin and yang to this dimensions you just defined. You're getting some smaller divisions to the distance. And I know he doesn't like the full P, so we just keep it in parallel. And then he does this in many layers. Dry brush, and then water wet wash. It takes at least 4 or 5 or even 8 to 9 layers. I think. Yeah, I like this dry brush now in working, so I can really make the form, not just the contours. Okay, I see this centerpiece is more darker than this left and the right. So let's make this. And then pay attention to the shape of the clouds or the foot of this cliff. I'm painting too fast, I know, but otherwise I won't be able to finish. I have 15 minutes. And yin yang starts to take shape. Within the dark, there are also some yang white, but not so white maybe than this side. So and something in the middle. Oops, I think I lost this white on the ridge. I just have to go faster. Okay, I'll go back to the front a little bit so we can start to dot maybe later. Still not enough. Add some darkest dark here and there to add some depths, more depths. And this line could be very dark. Could be very dark. Oops. Let's get it off here. I got some dots, moss dots going there. and probably need more preparation for the dots. Sorry. The dots should be rounded. It's kind of most difficult part to do the dots correctly. There's line. I mean the brush quality thing. So the dots should be not flat. You know, it should be kind of like a 3D kind, almost standing on the paper, uh, and with some kind of power to. It's a dot, not just painted. You know, with some you have to make sure it penetrates all the way to the back of the paper. And you can use dots to form a line of a structure or to correct some, to enhance yin and yang and correct the, just, keep good and hide the mistakes. You see, I put the dots mostly in the shadow, in the hollow part of this, and leave the yang, squeeze out the white. Even if it's maybe too white, I can use I can lighten it later. Maybe we just finish this first, just to see what time we have, and then we can see if it's a white gong, or dark gong. They have, it has two styles. One is called white gong. White gong is one, and he can go very dark. That's his typical style, but you don't have to if you don't like. Okay, so I see some dark here to hide this intersection. I don't know which tree it belongs to, but that's kind of a contract, strong contrast in the painting there, and see some dense stroke there, and lots of dark here. Basically, my gray is not enough to show. Maybe I do it later. So I'll finish the top. My building is a little too big because I enlarged it. It's out of proportion. It's probably okay. Anyway. So look at the peak. There's a strong contrast there, so I just put some dark there. And, outside of the white. And some dots on top of that. I didn't put enough twin there. And have a last layer. It's almost like a background. So you can see some. I see some green there, so I do have some green left over. So I just add to the, so give me a little bit green, gray. And let's do this. So it is higher than the peak. So you can draw something like that. It's basically diagonal, but has some round alum long, right? Frontal. It's almost like cloud shape. Okay, don't worry about it. Just some grays. Just add a little light on top. It's getting too contemporary. Split brush too much. Yeah, he's very contemporary, so to speak. Almost you can see it's so realistic. James Cahill calls his painting created a believable something like, yeah, I think that's the word, believable alternative world. Um, so his painting is a kind of realism in the time, of the impression of the real landscape, the illusion. Yeah. Okay. So by this far, you should be very familiar with yin yang concept, right? So that's the idea. And Shitao, the next time was he has a theory of the Tai Chi yin yang. So basically, he thinks the painting is the proven of how yin yang works. And Gong Xian has a quote when he was asked how he does his mountains, waters, and trees by a monk, a fellow monk. He answered that you have to go back to the beginning of the universe. So there's no limit for the painter, which is the Tao, of painting. I just try to harmonize this with some kind of gray, and eventually you can use more wet wash, very thin wash. I can just add water to this, and all the wash could be still done in the same kind of stroke, just with more water in it. Not wet the paper, definitely, but you can see how soft this line, the cloud is. There's a lot of layers there, and you can just keep doing this while you listen to the news, right? To make a peace with yourself.
Henry, have you ever done a landscape with rain?
Well, last yesterday we did a rain with street, but it was in watercolor. Do you mean that kind of rain or this kind of landscape with rain?
This
Yeah,
kind of landscape, where you have the side strokes coming down.
Yeah, that's I think that's probably he was inspired from the me dots, right? Yeah, me dots landscape. I think he has this kind of let me see. He has this kind of painting me dots. I'm not sure which one is that. Let's see. Not really, but most of his painting looks like a me style. Yeah, I think in Raining Mountain we just use the horizontal, like you said, the horizontal dots.
Yeah, or strokes. When do you do that? Towards the end, or?
Oh, the dots are well in
The rain dots. I mean,
yeah in that in me dots style. I think we do that before. You just you start with a light contour and then you start dot. The dot and contour make work together, but mostly just the dot. So you will start with a light contour, and then you start to dot. Almost like this. You draw a line. I think it's almost like this, and then you start to use contour to just like this. And we'll do more later. I'll do a special maybe class just on the mi dots, and we can trace all the mi dots from mi to Qi Bai Shi, or some many artists in between. They do the same idea. So next lesson, maybe we should arrange it with a technical. Just trace all the. When we studied contemporary, we should go back to the source. So yeah, that's the idea of that. So next series starts right the week after the next one. But we'll skip the 3 holidays. So there's no because Thanksgiving is on a Thursday, right? So we have no class on Thanksgiving. We don't have class on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. So it will be probably 13 weeks until maybe early March. Check the schedule. I already have the registration form on the website. So if you want to continue during the this special holiday season, I would love to have you continue.
So what's the next series?
The next series will be 18th to 20th century.
Okay.
10 classes on 18th to 20th century Chinese painting masters. I will focus more on the the classical style. Even in the 20th century, we have a lot of masters. Even today, their technique is directly linked to the tradition, or they consider themselves in the same Orthodox school even. So not the Western kind of painting, a revolutionary painting. Maybe we should talk about a little bit social realism movement, but even with that, they have just like when I studied, I did something very contemporary, but the technique is still about the same. When it comes to how to paint trees and rocks, right? Yeah. Let me see if any other dots I leave. I have
The
only,
dots, I think Huang Gongwang is more horizontal dot, right?
he definitely has a style that everybody, yeah, he likes the horizontal dots, right?
But
He's, Mhm.
go ahead.
Um,
Dong Qichang's dot for last week, I saw it's a horizontal dot as well, right? But it's a little different than Huang Gongwang, isn't that right?
Preference. If you look at this kind of round dots, check Wu Zhen again, and then Shen Zhou, he's an admirer of Wu Zhen. Li Zan and Huang Gongwang is probably similar, just rounded dots. I mean, horizontal dots, but rounded dots is more realistic. I think maybe more useful. Let me zoom out, see if I can add anything else. This part should be a little bit. So I just use the small image to check my composition. Maybe zoom it out. You can see the whole thing. Just a few dots will be done. Just thank you for your patience. Okay, so I dot on this like a lower part of the or shady part of the rock. So you make the contrast stronger using dots, and like this joint part, this could be some dots, and some dots there. So, just find the right place. Try to understand the function of the dots, how tighten things together, and how divide or bring things together. Okay, and see if there's any dots there. So gradually you will have a good feel. If there's some dots out of place, you can tell from your own eyes and correct them. So here I need to maybe work some more later to divide these two layers. So basically, there's a division of major planes shift. So this is behind. This is in the distance, and this is behind. Okay, you can have some. That's about it. I'm not sure if I can still see the shape of the clouds as clearly as in the original. But you see, this line is too straight. I try to, maybe I should try to correct that. You can make this little sticking out, and you can vary the shape a little bit. So now I'm using a little wet, soft stroke to do the cloud line. So this is the last step. You use water and lots of water and light ink to make the softness. And just change this into clouds. Okay, I think this is too white, so then you just eliminate that. But I don't eliminate all the white, obviously. Just make it lighter. Okay. And just water now, it's not very dark, so it won't really, even maybe after it dries. I just want to sometimes I just use water to experiment. If I like it, I add a little color to it to confirm it. Sometimes, yeah. I can go back to add some dry stroke afterwards. That's about it. And I need to write the homage to Gong Xian. Let's finish. So next class will be Chi Tao, the last person discussed in the book of Images of Mind. I think that's a good ending of the 17th century. And then historically we'll call the 18th century pre-modern, maybe 19th century modern, right? So still we have some other artists to discuss. Maybe we can go back a little bit, talk about the four monks, and then the 8th century eccentrics of Yangzhou. They followed the trends set by Dong Jichang and Shi Tao. So 18th century is 8 eccentrics of Yangzhou. Yeah. And then the Shanghai school, big movement with the open ports, with Western influence, maybe. But I'd say 致敬董贡贤 right here. Homage to, this is to actually, 致 homage 敬 Gong. Oh, it's kind of hard to write the complicated characters anyway. Xian. I try to write small so my landscape won't, does not look smaller. And then the year of the red. And this hill. Okay. So how you guys are doing? It's difficult one. Yeah. The longer time you spend, the better for this kind of accumulated ink technique. We call this accumulative maybe. And so you apply multiple layers of ink. I can still work on it. Just want to make sure this rock is a little gray than the white water on the left. Okay. Any comments and suggestions or?
I have some question on the trees. Okay, so I think I might missed it. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trees, right?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes.
The first one is like a willow, right? That's the first one.
It's a pine.
The leaves.
It's a pine with what we decided is a Spanish moss. Just like
moss.
Yeah, like an old pine with a lichens or Spanish moss.
Okay, The second one, I'm concerning more about the leaves. I just want to identify which leaf
Oh,
belongs to which.
I will say the second one is kind of pine or cypress, because yeah, the shape of the is a little the crown is more like a pine. The horizontal, you know, especially this group here, I think it's almost like a pine tree. Yeah, you can consider it as a pine, but the bark is not rounded, so it could be a cypress, and it's not very long needle, but that's a cypress or pine kind of.
Cypress is with the horizontal line. That's cypress?
柏树 right? 柏树.
Yeah. The horizontal line is
Horizontal is
cypress.
like the redwood kind of 杉树.
Okay, that
Yeah, 杉.
redwood. Okay.
Then these little M leaves are some kind of you know, the autumn foliage kind of could be maple or that kind of tree that changes color.
That's on the right, right?
That's the one on the right. Okay, actually, the second from this one, it's in the second from the right. This horizontal one goes behind this one, so they make a cross. So this one goes all the way here to the top. So this.
Okay.
That's the horizontal one. It goes way all the way up there. You see that's the trace I'm trying to do.
Yeah, I just want to trace the direction of each tree.
You see my brush? It tells you this. So this one goes all the way from here behind this outlined M-shaped tree. And then the middle one, I think it's confused dots like here, just horizontal dots. Yeah, small confused dots. And you can use smaller dots maybe, or yeah, some round dots, or it doesn't matter because this is a little vertical. That's a pine. This is more rounded somehow. Yeah. So this one is dot. Yeah. So you can go. This have a kind of mixed area, so it has both. Let me see. This dots on top here. I need to put some mask dots there. And here.
I have a question about the Dong Qichang's painting. You told me to pay attention to the stroke of the master.
Yeah, right? The grouping I think is the most important, and the size. You try to keep the group about, you know, it could vary a little bit in size or shape, but relatively same in a group. It could be 5, you know, a group. So you need to practice maybe just on a piece of paper, a lot of dots, just practice the dots. Just make the dots look more like the Dong Qichang's dots is a little sharp. More like that, yeah. So
it's also different than Huang Gongwang's dot, right? Even both are horizontal, but it's a little different, isn't it?
He doesn't have really a grouping, but he's just a distance, you know, like he does that. There's a pattern. You can look at all the dots, you will see his pattern. But some dots have like a little flower shape, some just like that. So everybody has a different way of make a, you know, a gesture, rhythmic Yeah, even these dots could have a rhythm, right? Just some dark, some dense, some sparse that create a rhythm. That's what I mean. If you just start with without a rhythm, it's like or too much variation. So we don't really see the calligraphy there. So you need to just see a good painting. You'll see that. Let me show you the painting. It's a 25 meg. Um, let me see. Maybe I'll send all the pages. You can see some other pages of this book, this wonderful teaching book. And the last one, I have a complete scroll. You see, okay. Here, yeah, that's his home museum in the park nearby my brother's house. Okay, here is this is the painting we learned. Oh, this is the one. I'm not sure how to show this on okay, on a different screen. Maybe see here. Oh, you don't see that. Let me see. Oh, you can see it, right? Yeah. See, this painting has a lot of details. I downloaded it from the online museum. So if you look at this kind of painting and then just try to produce this kind of dot and see the grouping, the overlapping, and the dense and the sparse. They're not changing directions all the time. So it's all pointed to one direction, right? Yeah, you can see all the dots behind here. So this is by Gong Xian. So he's very good at the dots.
Yeah, even in this painting has a lot of dots, right?
Yeah, yes. Just look at this painting and other paintings. I'll upload this as an attachment to the website. I can do that. I think yeah. So you can download it from the online class site. This has a vertical dots, and see his three dots there. He just vary a little bit vertical or fan shape or large size, small size. So his dots is very rounded. I feel he probably just used a soft brush, not very, but his rock maybe stiff brush, or loaded brush with
water.
Water, yeah, adequate amount of ink, I'll say. And you can see his line are very, very elegant, very calligraphic with a center stroke. And his layers of ink really works. You can see the overlapping. I didn't really make it to work today as I wish. So you can see how everything overlaps, right? With perspective, area perspective in a sense. So he just varied the ink. So there's at least 10 grades of, not just the 5, maybe different tonalities here. And the lines also work to distinguish them dots. So the building is usually a light part in the painting, and he doesn't really work anything, on the clouds, but you feel the whole painting is filled with qi, breath, air. Yeah, that's he concentrated on the layers of the depths of the rock. So that's how he deal with the cloud line. You can see that with many layers to make it soft like this. So maybe we should just learn from that. Okay, I'll just stop here and send you the demo. I wish you can do better with yours with more time.
If you can let us know what is written on the painting, the original one.
Oh, that's a good question. I really didn't have a chance to look at yet. Let's see. Is this the not the high resolution one? Let me see. Let me open it. Can you see it? Let me see.
I cannot see it.
Oh, it's blank. Huh? I think it's out of place. Okay, let me reduce the size. Okay, here we go. Right. Right. 住山由浅自搓，那个搓什么？那个搓还是绝？I don't know how to pronounce that. 牙那个是什么？搓牙，牙，那是口字旁牙。How
Don't know. Okay.
How to pronounce it?
I don't know.
You don't know. Okay.
No idea.
You know how to write it. Yeah. I will check it later. 花
落，
花落
花
，yeah，
落，
花落，为，对吧？花落美，
围看还是围坐？围坐，围看。
燕子飞，
Okay, good. Thank you.
燕子飞，
独我山中翘是吗？独我山中翘草木，千从万壑一人家。
Yeah. It's I think it's basically dwellings of mountain. The title should be something like that. Yeah, it should be dwellings 山居图。
Thank you.
Yeah, you can just write 山居图 dwellings, mountain dwellings. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a one kind of painting for hermit. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Henry. I have to go now. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you everybody. I think that's all for this day. I hope you stay safe and calm. No matter what happens, you paint. Keep painting.
Okay.
Thank you, Henry.
Bye, Henry. Henry,
Yeah.
please, one quick, what do the words on this painting say? What does that say?
We just you didn't okay, let me translate that. We just read that in Chinese briefly. It's a mountain house, mountain dwelling in painting. So it describes the surroundings of the house and swallows in the sky in the spring, and the last, yeah, so it's basically describe the environment of this mountain dwelling. I'll do the translation later. I need to check a few words here. The translation is kind of hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
住山 yeah 独由浅自觉it's a late spring, so the flowers falling, and then the swallows back.
Okay.
And yeah, it says this, alone, 独我 I'm alone in the mountain. That's the sentence here. And surrounded by thousands of plants and trees. This one building, one house.
And surrounded by mountains, right?
Mountains and
千什么千丛千不知道不认识。
Yeah, thousands of mountains and yeah.
千岩还是
千岩 thousands of cliffs and ravines, ravines.
千岩万壑 ？Yeah. Thank you, Henry.
Thank you.
拜拜。
Bye.
Bye-bye, Henry. Thank you.
Thank you.